I'm having the same issue. I have a Chromebook and it doesn't support Zoom. It's terrible.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, it doesn't have enough usage to be able to support even my cross country group, and it's brand new. But
oh my goodness.
it doesn't help at all.
I almost went with a Chromebook. I thought about it, so I guess I'm glad I just stuck with a laptop.
Yeah, it wasn't very expensive, so
Are you using the app on the Chromebook?
I was. It's still
okay.
It says it doesn't have enough CPU. So like the usage for the 74, especially when I'm on with the class, it just won't support it.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
You should look at Costco. We've gotten a lot of different computers at Costco, and you can literally buy a computer at Costco and 4 years later come back with no receipt, just your membership card, and they'll give you a full return if it's not working. Like as long as you
unbelievable that way.
they'll like examine it, like as long as you didn't break it, like crack it with a hammer or something, they'll take it back. It's incredible.
Yeah, I know. I should have. It was funny. My husband bought it, and he actually worked for Dell for 12 years and worked for Amazon for 7 years. So it's actually like a running joke that we are supposed to be super technical, but we have the worst time.
Oh no!
I know.
Yeah, that's funny.
How many other people are you expecting to log in, Ben?
I think Rochelle is going to join us.
Okay.
I'll text her. She's been texting me.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that, who is it? That Janice can join us too.
Oh, good. Well, I already need to make a change to our donation page again.
Okay.
But this time it's a really awesome change. Bill and Dare came up with the money that we needed to complete our goal. So I want to change the goal to complete and then put in something that says, stay tuned for the opportunity to donate towards a table or a bench or a trash, waste can.
Okay, so I'll show.
Soon.
I'll add you on. It seems like you'll be doing this a lot, so I think I can add you onto it's such a simple software. I think I can add you on to Give Lively.
Okay.
Because that's another thing that's kind of cool about Give Lively. It doesn't handle any payment stuff, so it's like it should definitely be kept within our organization, but there's really not too much danger that one person could have on payments or anything like that on Give Lively. It's not all in one. Payments are one thing and the pages are another thing. It's basically like a donation website builder in a way.
Got it.
Is it multi-user or is it just one admin user that will share?
No, it's a multi-user platform. So as people come in and out of the organization, we can add and remove people, which is nice.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it is good.
Rochelle, do you know if Janice is coming?
I don't know if she is coming or not. I haven't really, we've texted a lot this week. We haven't talked about tonight in particular.
Okay. Oops. Oh, okay. Janice isn't coming. She just texted.
Perfect.
All right. There's a train. It's funny. We're pretty close to the airport, but our old house used to be right next to the train tracks. So it's kind of trippy hearing the train tracks since I'm so used to all the plane noise. Okay. Rochelle, you are on the website as an editor right now. So if you would to edit the website, you would log in with Google and then use your Gmail account as the login with Google. But I'm going to make that better. I'm going to make something that more people could have access to.
Are you talking about for Give Lively?
For Weebly.
For Weebly.
So you are on there as an editor, so you could just log in with Google and use it's linked to your personal email right now.
The last time that we tried to do something though. I wasn't able to do what you wanted me to do. So that's why I was trying to go in with the other one, but that's fine. I can go in as me.
It was, and I'm going to switch that. And
Okay.
the only thing you couldn't do was renew the plan.
Oh, okay.
But I think you've paid for 3 years or 2 years or something. So it's not that, but I'm going to put the one that I'm going to switch it over to Janice as the main account holder.
Perfect.
Under treasurer, so that the treasurer is the one who can handle the
That's perfect.
credit card stuff. But yeah. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. And I don't have a PowerPoint set up, but I'm just going to kind of take you through what we have right now and how we kind of have it set up. So Give Lively is, as I kind of mentioned earlier, it's our fundraising page maker. It's not processing any payments. It's the software that is that's like the front end. It's the front end software for donors. And most of the back end stuff is through a payment processor called Stripe. Like that's where all the money is processed. That's where all the reports are run through. So Give Lively is kind of just making little campaign websites for Stripe. And I'm going to show you some of the donation pages we've made on Give Lively so far to replace what we had on Classy. So as you can see, on this donation page, there's a couple elements. So there's this lovely photo right here. So you can have a splash page photo on a donation page. There's a donor bar. So you can set a goal for a campaign. There's a little description field where you can describe the project. There is the actual, and then there's like the donation section where you'd actually say, I want to make $100 one-time donation and pay via credit card. So this is kind of just a basic campaign page, which is what we will be making through Give Lively in most cases. And let's go to the Give Lively admin portion right now. So I am just going to start by Googling Give Lively and go into their website. They have a very teal theme, so you know if you're at a very teal website, you're at the right place. And there's a nice login button in the top right. Shoot, I'm already logged in. I'm going to sign out just so you can see what it would really look like. And then you would just log in with your username and password for Give Lively. And this is mainly for people who would actually be creating or editing a campaign page. It's really for foundation people, because something that Give Lively hasn't added yet is a way to have limited access roles. So that's one thing that was kind of nice about Classy, is we could add campaign admins where they could only view all the stuff and edit the page for their site. So like a cross-country team parent, we could give them a login that was just for the cross-country page, and a baseball parent, we could give them a login just for the baseball page. So for right now, until they come out with a feature like that, we're keeping logins for Give Lively to people in the foundation. And right now, Nancy will primarily be creating new pages for now.
Yeah.
And then other foundation members can help edit and view donation information as needed. So we're in the Give Lively dashboard right now. You'll see there's a bunch of tabs up here. It's a little intimidating, but we'll kind of go through and explain it a little bit right now. So right as you log in, what it's showing us right here is what's called the core profile on Give Lively. So the core profile is how people would make, is the page where people would make a general donation to the foundation. So that's like, that's funds that could go anywhere in the foundation. People are making a general donation to the DPHS Foundation for us to designate to the spots we see fit. So that is the link to our core profile page. And it's giving you the option to edit the basic information and all that stuff for the core profile page. And that's something we don't really need to touch, because if you see, I've clicked the visit page button to see what our core profile looks like. It looks pretty good right now. We don't really need to change this core profile because it's just a place for people to make general donations, and campaigns for the different groups is what we're going to be. Those are going to be changing pretty constantly based on what programs are asking us to fundraise money for them, and distribute funds in that way. So you'll also see, if you scroll down, it'll show you the recent campaign pages. I don't mess with the dashboard too often, because right now it's not showing you all of our campaign pages. It's only showing you the most recent 3. And I think that's a little bit confusing. And text codes. So you can see the dashboard. It's more useful for us to go up to these tabs up here on the Give Lively dashboard and just go to what information we need. So the core profile, that's where you'd edit the core profile, which we're not really going to do. And this campaigns tab, here's where it gets interesting. So you'll see a couple things. Here is all of the campaign pages that we have made for the foundation right now, or for different programs right now. We have cross country, the Twin Palms Beach Volleyball Courts, the Charger Patio Project, DP News, the Baseball Scoreboard, the Pandemic Assistance Fund, and DP Yearbook. These 3 pages, we can't delete these pages because, we can't do as much to these pages because donations have already been made to those programs. But anything else, you can modify those as needed, based on, like if you made a test campaign to try out the features, you could just delete it when you're done with it, as no donations have been made to it. But let's delve into creating a campaign page. So if you go to our website right now, and this is just our DPHS Foundation website, you'll see that under the About Us page, there's a donation page request. And this Google form that's linked to on this donation page is a way for different programs to request a new donation form. And as we're creating a campaign page on the back end, all of the fields that we need to make a campaign page need to be submitted to us through this Google form, so we know what to put. So we have an image to set as their background image, and we have how much they've raised already, and contact emails and all that kind of stuff on here from this Google form to put into Give Lively. And that will just send an email to Nancy with all of this information. So you'll see here's one response that was submitted on the form, and it'll submit all of that. It'll email all that information automatically for us to transmit to Give Lively.
That's perfect, Ben. And I assume you used my nnaretto@cox.net?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Great.
So right now, I think let's try making a test campaign page for this Pandemic Assistance Fund, even though I've already made the real campaign page for this Pandemic Assistance Fund. But I just want to kind of show you the process of making a campaign page. And I'm going to share my desktop so that I can have a split screen. It's easiest if you're able to figure out a way to get it in 2 different windows. So you can kind of see the information on one side and Give Lively on the other side.
Yep,
So
perfect.
just a reminder, I'm on the main Give Lively dashboard page. I go to campaigns and create campaign page. So we ask for their email, name, and phone number. And that's just so that we can email them with any questions. But beyond that, it's in the general order that Give Lively is asking for the information. So you'll see that the title of the campaign, these four fields are for contact information, but here's the first field that we're asked for on Give Lively. So it says, give your campaign a name, and we're going to name it DPHS Pandemic Assistance Fund. And I'm going to put test in parentheses because this is our fake page and I want to make sure that's clear. And you'll click next. And here's an option that we don't give people on the form. So this would be, you'll see it asks you if you want to use the default template or the story template. An example of what the story template looks like, I'm going to show you what one of the campaign pages, we only have one that's using it right now, and it's the beach volleyball courts. Here's an example of the story page. We only have this program using the story template right now because it's a lot of information for a general club to submit on a form, since we have a picture for every donation level and text for every donation level and a long campaign description and that kind of thing. And you could also have videos and other kinds of stuff. It's a lot of information to ask from a program who's just trying to get a place for their donations to go. So
But this might be something nice for, like, Carrie may want to use this when she's putting up like pictures of the tables that people can put their names on, or umbrellas, right, or things like that. When she wants to be in more detail with more levels, it might be useful for her.
So if someone is reaching out to us and they're via email and they're asking for something more, they have more information than is asked for in this form, then we could possibly try filling out the story template. But today I'm just going to show the default template because in most cases, the default template has all of the features that you would need for a campaign page. And all of the pages that were on Classy, I was able to move over into just the default template. So I'm going to click next. And that's why we don't ask. That's why it's not on this form here. So you'll see it's taken us to the page where we can enter all the information for our new campaign, the DPHS Pandemic Assistance Fund. So you'll see we already have our title, the page description. I'm just going to copy that right over. We've already set our fundraising page template. You'll see it's the default. And now it's asking for the default frequency. So on a campaign page, the default frequency means, I'm gonna show you. I'm just gonna not close it this time. My internet has been very slow these last few days. I don't know if it's everyone hopping on YouTube at 5:00 p.m., but it's right when it seems to slow down. Sorry about that. It also could be Weebly, I guess, but. And let's look at Cross Country's page. Okay, so the default frequency, here it asks you whether you want to make a one-time donation or a monthly donation. So your default frequency, if I had the default frequency as monthly, it would have monthly on the left and one time on the right, and monthly would be pre-selected when you load the page. So that's what it's asking with the default donation frequency. It's not removing the option to do a one-time gift or a monthly gift. It's just prioritizing one or the other. And it looks like Ms. Bodenheimer requested a one-time donation as her default donation frequency, so I'm going to switch that to one time. Campaign donation goal. So on this page, you'll see that there's a goal of $10,000 set for this campaign, but this is optional because if they don't want to necessarily have a goal for their campaign, because sometimes a goal can be kind of intimidating to a donor or a little frustrating. Like once you reach your goal, you have to keep increasing it as more people. If some people just don't want to have a goal for their donation page, and that's okay. So you can either set a goal if they ask for one, or you can just delete that 0 and you can just delete that 0 and it won't show at all. Same with amount raised from other sources and offline donors. They might have that or they might not already. So you can just delete those zeros if they don't have it and enter it in here if they do. The fundraiser goal suggestion, that is for the peer-to-peer pages, which is, again, a kind of a special circumstance thing. If a program directly asks for it, that's where a peer-to-peer page would be if, let's say, I wanted to, if we were doing like a marathon and each person's goal was to raise $500 that was running the marathon, they could make a peer-to-peer page on the donation form, and their total and their goal and everything and their story would be separate from the main campaign, and they could share a personal link with everybody. I don't think we'll use that too often unless there's, again, a special circumstance where someone's asking for a peer-to-peer page, which is why, again, it's not on that Google form for now. So we'll just leave that blank. The fundraiser goal suggestion would be the default starting place for a peer-to-peer page. So like $500 would be the default peer-to-peer page for each person who's raising money for that. So for now, we're just gonna leave that blank. And these 5 checkboxes, you'll see it says, she's checked show recent donors on campaign page. So we're only gonna check show recent donors on live page, on campaign page, and allow donors to make donation private, because those are the only things she's chosen from this list. And same with the international mode. The international mode doesn't do anything except make it clear that all donations are processed in US dollars. So on the campaign page, it would say 500 USD when you're making a donation. It's not changing any of the settings other than making it clear that all donations are processed in US dollars.
Ben?
Yes.
Just going up to that last option that we're not choosing tonight, but allow donors to dedicate their donations. Is that something that I would use for the donors who are, say, donating toward a bench and they want to give me they want to tell me what text to have put on that bench?
So no, that's going to be the next tab.
Okay,
so
never mind.
I'm done with this bit. So this is just the basic information. And
Okay.
you'll see, I'm going to save that. And if you go to my Pandemic Assistance Fund test page, I'm already at a pretty good place. I've got the DPHS Pandemic Assistance Fund. I've got some donation bubbles right here. I've got my description. But it's branded under the DPHS Foundation right now. And we want it to be branded under each person's team, like each team's logo or branding. So you'll see there's 4 tabs here. I'm going to go to the second tab, which says logos and images. And here on this Google form, you'll see there's the option to upload your logo. And you can click that. And you'll see it'll just give you the option to download the PNG of the logo. And there you could upload it straight to Give Lively. So I'm going to download this logo. And I emailed her separately about this. This logo is really low resolution. And I talked to her about that. But we can...
I forget on the form, Ben, I saw the form a few weeks ago, but do we list any of those logo specifications on the form itself? Minimum pixels, no larger than a megabyte, and so on?
That would probably be a good thing to put on there.
We can just add that right to the form.
Yeah, why don't I'll make a note of that.
Okay.
Yeah, I can probably just copy paste it right now. Right there. Bada bing. Yeah, Google Forms is really great.
Perfect.
I'm just gonna Okay. One. All right. So now it'll only accept files that are larger than 1 megabyte.
Yeah, just give people that are uploading a logo a clue of what their specifications are.
So if they don't submit a logo, since I have it on here as optional, since not every program has a logo, they might just have text. What we'll do, if she did submit a logo, but if this was just blank, we would just click this hidden button. And then on the page, it'll just remove that logo section and it'll just leave the background photo. And she didn't submit a background image. So we're just gonna leave that on here as default image. And that'll just be that nice Dos Pueblos rainbow photo.
It's a perfect photo, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. And then the background color, so that's this blue color. I think we'll probably just leave it as this navy blue for most of the campaigns, since it's very readable. Like some of the yellows and the pinks and the purples are not very readable. So I think it would just be easier for programs to submit their photo and their logo and just leave the navy blue there as the color. And also, if it's really clear what their program's color is, like let's say it was the Dos Pueblos Red Cross Club, just with your knowledge, you could click on this number and switch it to a red color.
Okay. I like your idea of keeping it blue, though. It keeps the branding consistent from page to page, and it's kind of a DP blue.
Yeah.
I agree. You know, what you might do is just put a little note that says if they need a specific color, they need to provide us with the hex. If they know what that is, then they know what they're doing. And if they don't, then they won't do it and it won't be a problem.
You're right. It's a good indicator.
Yeah. So I don't love this red, but
Looks like San Marcos. Turn that off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, if it's important to somebody, they'll ask about it. Otherwise, I kind of like the consistent branding.
And see, that's another thing I like about Give Lively is as you're clicking save at the bottom, if I didn't like that red color, so I can just be clicking save and reloading my campaign page and I can see the changes right then and there. You don't have to worry about publishing it and making drafts or dealing with any of that. You literally just click the save button and it updates the page for you. So we've got our logo, we've got our background image, we've got our color, and there's image for social media sharing. So you know how on Facebook, sometimes it'll scrape an image when you paste a link on Facebook, it'll pull an image from that page. So you can, it says this minimum of 1200 by 630 pixels. What you can just do is upload the same image as the background image for this image for social media sharing, and that works totally good. That works totally fine. So you would just upload that image in both places.
Okay.
Because it's pretty rare that you'd need a separate image for social media sharing that's different from your background image.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll see that there's a third section on the Google form that says donation amounts. But you'll notice on our end, it says donation amounts and impact stories. So Carrie, you were saying, let's say I wanted to have bench and table and all of those things linked to a monetary amount. So let's say a bench costs $250 and this is a bench. You could have a little story linked to each monetary amount.
That's nice. Or like if you were doing sponsorship, platinum, gold, silver, bronze.
Yep. You could add levels with the amounts.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
One thing we want to do is with the tables, they're probably going to be a total of $1,200 for a table. So we want to suggest that families join together and, 2 families, 4 families chip in and then they'll each get a plaque. So that's probably where I would describe all of that, right?
Yes, and I'm guessing that we will be using story mode for that campaign because to have images linked with the donation amount, you need to be in story mode.
Okay.
But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. For now, you could just say like $100 for bronze, 200 for gold, and yeah, we also have an option on here that's called amounts only mode. So you would, on the Google form, she said $25, $50, $100, and $250. So, and we don't have a description for those dollar amounts. So we're just going to switch to amounts only mode. And that's going to make it so we don't need to add a text for each donation level. We can just put 25, 50, 100, and 250. Those are just the defaults. And then donor's choice amount, it adds that by default for every amount.
That's just an other category.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. If they want to do 75.
You can also have it sort by lowest to highest or highest to lowest. Just enter it however they enter it on their 4 donation amounts. So if they go $250, $100, $50, and $25 in that order, then you would just enter it on here in that order. Just match what they've put on to make the back and forth a little bit less. And then the fourth tab is the thank you message. So for every new campaign, this is basically the email receipt. So what you would do to make the email receipt is just leave this template how it is, except where it says DPHS Foundation, replace that to say Dos Pueblos Pandemic Assistance Fund, and sincerely Dos, like do whatever makes sense based on, change it to the name of the program that it's supporting. And then we'll leave this here because it'll say your donation is processed through the Dos Pueblos High School Foundation, and that it will appear on your bank statement as Dos Pueblos Foundation. And then it'll also have the tax ID number on there for the tax deductible donation stuff. And that's kind of nice too, because that way we don't have to give out our tax ID. We'll say, if you've made a donation, it's included in your email. So
we have some groups that fundraise through us that have their own tax ID. So for those, we should be changing that tax ID to theirs.
Yes. Oh, okay. So
most of them do not. Most of them go through us because they don't, but we do have some, and those are the ones that we have the funds going to.
That might be something good to put back on the form too then. Does your organization have its own tax ID? If so, put it here. If not, check NA or something like that.
So yeah, I asked Janice about that, if there was any other information she needed, like a tax ID number or an account number, because Dos Pueblos, at Dos Pueblos, all of the money sits in the ASB general bank account and is sorted into sub-accounts through the business office. So I asked if she needed the business, the account number, or if they needed the person to write a check to, and she said she figures all of that stuff out.
Yeah, so she doesn't need it for that part. I'm just saying for this, so that when they get their donation receipt, they should have the correct tax ID on there. If they're not using our tax ID, they're using their own, then it should have the correct one on the letter that they get back.
What programs have their own tax ID? Is it like athletics or?
I don't remember. Janice would know, but
I can tell you athletics does not. And it would be okay for us to pass those monies through though, Rochelle?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
It is. It just gets handled. She handles them differently, the ones that have their own tax IDs and the ones that don't. So I know, okay, PTSA is one. The funds come through the foundation, even though it's weird. There's been some weird.
Okay.
So she writes them a check when it's all said and done. It goes in it, but they have their own tax ID number.
So yeah, PTSA, that's something you change the tax ID number for. But PTSA, yeah, like
They
the
won't go
PTSA,
through this though.
They won't go through. They'll go through
No.
Parent Square or
Yeah.
through the welcome packet, and that's all handled outside of Give Lively.
Yeah, I feel like there was only one other one. I just don't
There's
remember.
one of the
who it
athletic
was.
teams, I think, went and got their own tax ID and does their own fundraising. And I can ask Dan Feldhaus. I'm pretty sure one of the teams
I
kind
bet
of
it's
spun off
water
and did their own
polo.
thing.
Yeah,
might
I
be.
think
I
water
can't-
polo. Yeah,
Okay,
Is
could
that
be.
the one?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I remember there being one.
So it might just be worth, like Nancy said, just putting it on the form. Do you have your own tax ID, and if so, what is it?
And to your point, Rochelle, earlier with the hex color, if they have one, they'll know. And if not, then if they don't know, then chances are the answer is no.
Okay. And Nancy, I think you're on the Google form, so you could add that question on there.
Okay, I'm happy to.
Just make sure you make it an optional question, not a required question, so they don't have to fill it out if they don't want to.
Okay.
And I found it's helpful that for optional questions, 90% of people don't notice that the red star means required on a form.
Yep.
So it just alleviates some headache. If it's an optional question, I just put optional in parentheses next to the name. And
Okay.
it's saved a lot of back and forth when I
Sure.
add that.
Makes sense.
And the reply to email for all donation receipts, that should, I'm actually going to change what the default reply to email is to support@dphsfoundation.org. And that's a group email address that goes to me, Nancy, and Janice. So, and Laura Lee. So those four people could basically answer any question about donations. I could answer about tech support. Nancy could answer about the campaign page.
Okay.
Janice could answer about funds, and like between the four of us, we could figure it out.
Yeah. Most appropriate person step in.
So we can usually just leave this reply to email for donation receipts is the same, because if there was a sports coach and they got, and the reply to email was to the sports coach, they don't have access to Give Lively or Stripe, so they wouldn't be too much help with actual donation questions. So we'll just leave it as whatever the default email is. And yeah, that's a confirmation email. You can also change the subject line to say DPHS Pandemic Assistance Fund. And that could, like for cross country, it says, thank you for your donation to Dos Pueblos Cross Country. You would switch out the information here with what makes sense for the organization. And we'll click save. And we have a campaign page. And that'll be 95% of what we use Give Lively for. I'm gonna widen this up. Like you'll see there's widgets and text codes and events. Most of that stuff is for events that we're not doing right now. That would be for galas. We could make a text code and put that on a big banner that says, want to make a donation to the 2021 gala? Just text DPHS Gala to 44321 and donate right then and there, which is a super helpful feature. But we're not really doing any events where people wouldn't just click a link from an email or a website.
But you could put it like on Instagram would be a great place, because you can't, click on Instagram. It might be nice to like drop something in that says, patio project, text DP patio or something, and then that would get them to the page.
So
something like that.
Let's try. And I think they have to be unique from other organizations. So it's like, I don't think you could do give as your campaign code.
But you could probably do DPHS patio or DP patio,
so we
something
could do,
like that.
I think we could even do patio as a code, because Give Lively is a fairly new software. So there's not too many codes there's not too much stuff taken up on here. So yeah, and the default is that it's associated with your primary fundraising page. But the way you would link this text code, if you go to the text codes tab and make a text code, the way you would associate this code patio with your campaign is by going to the campaign and in this section, you'll see when you click on the manage button for the campaign you want to link that code with. Oops, no, I want to make one for Patio Project. You would click link a text to donate code and click on Patio. And now when you text Patio to 44321, it'll send you a link that you can just click right from your phone and make a donation there.
I think that's great, especially for like if the Alumni Association wants to send something out or put it out, they can, that would be really simple.
Yes, it's definitely easy. And then you'll see there's an event tab. Here is where you could sell tickets to an event. And it's kind of nice because you can add additional questions like, do you want beef, chicken, fish, or vegetarian as your meal option? And do you want, you can buy multiple tickets for multiple people in one. And I won't go through that too often because we're not really having any events right now.
Just curious, do they take the same percentage for event tickets that they take for donations?
Yes, so it's all processed the same way through Stripe.
Perfect.
But something you could do a virtual event through Give Lively. So let's say DPHS Alumni Reunion is my event. Remember, oh, that's a bug. Okay, oh, there we go. I think it's because I waited on that page for too long without typing in my name, but let's see. Yeah, now it's working. Okay, so there you would go to manage and your event details. See, you could set an address. So you could set, look for Dos Pueblos High School, which is kind of cool. And you could, and that'll show a map on the page. And you can do a date, the event, and time that the event starts, and which is kind of cool. Do an event description. But the thing is, for events, you have to have made a campaign first, so that it knows any tickets that are bought will count as a donation towards a campaign. So if it's just a general DPHS Foundation event, we would just direct it to the core profile. But if it was a gala for the Charger Patio Project, you'd select the Charger Patio Project as your beneficiary. And it's very similar to a campaign, just with a couple other features. You'll see the same image and color. And then instead of donation levels, you would do ticket levels, which is kind of cool. So you could, I haven't explored this very much. This is actually pretty cool. So you could have different tickets, and you could put a limited number of seats if you could only have so many under one ticket level, and you could have a price. We could do free events on here. You could leave it blank, and just like if we wanted to do registration for a virtual meet and greet or something, we could do that on here. But the really cool thing is, under the thank you message, if it was a virtual event, in this thank you message, you could say, the Zoom link for this event is, this Zoom code, and you could put that in the email. So if someone paid for a virtual event, then you could have that on here. So that's a cool option. I should definitely explore this more. I haven't looked at it too much. And then under additional questions, here is where you could ask more. You could ask more for an event. So you could have these custom fields on here and put it on here. Yeah, sorry, I'm not very prepared to teach this. I haven't looked at this very much because I didn't think about virtual events.
You're doing great.
It'll be great later when we get
Yes.
to do things again.
Yep, you're doing great.
Okay, and then yeah, the widgets tab up here, you could make a little, you know how like if you've worked with like Weebly before or Squarespace or something like that, there's the option to do an embed code. So on our donate page for general donations, this is what a widget would look like. So instead of having to go to a separate page, you could stay on the website and make a gift with a nice pop-up and just stay on the website, which is also pretty nice. If you have if the program has its own website already and they just need a way to process payments, then you could embed a donation widget right on their website. And to do that, you would have to start with a campaign, and you would choose which fundraising page the widget is for. And you can choose to insert the pre-selected donation budgets. And when you've made all your selections, you would just click Get Embed Code. And the webmaster would know how you would put this on the program website to make it work. So yeah, that is Give Lively. Oh yeah, final thing is reports. So this is mostly for Janice, but to see how much each program has raised after you've started collecting money, you would go to the campaign, and let's look at a program that has already made some money. And you'll see that it'll show you your recent donations here. Under the Manage section of a campaign, you can see all donations, and it'll show you who and how much they made. They gave on the donation page, and you can also export this data to send to a program. So if someone's asked, how many donations have I got, who's given it, yada yada yada, you would go to their campaign page, and under the See All Donations section, you could choose the range of donations you want to see and just export all of that. And it'll export as a spreadsheet that you could just email to them. And it has, once you've exported the data, it has all of the information they've saved. So you'll see it was a one-time donation. You can see if they chose to cover the fees. So like this person made a $500 donation and they covered $11.55 of fees. It shows you all of the information once you've exported it.
That's great. Is this something, Rochelle, you probably know that Janice would provide to the individual campaigns, since we don't have administrators that can use this?
That's a great question. So if they can't go in and see their own, because they used to be able to go in and see their own, we probably need to decide who's going to provide that, if that's going to be a finance role or if that's going to be the fundraising team's role. I would be inclined to maybe make it the fundraising team's role, just because she is already doing all of the back end money stuff with cutting the checks and all of that. She might though say, hey, I'm already in there cutting checks, I might as well do it also. But I think we should discuss it and let her decide what she wants.
Well, so Janice does it once a month. She writes the checks. I think it would probably be easiest if with every check she cuts, you could, since she's already facilitating getting the checks to the people, for each month. So let's say I want to do all of the September donations to cross country and export that. You could also just in an email, because I know she sends an email whenever like to give the money to people. You could include this spreadsheet on the email. That might just be easier, so it's not coming from so many places.
I do agree with that from the standpoint of thinking of the ease for the team or the user. Would be a single point of interface. So if they have worked with, say, me to set their whole campaign page up, it would be natural for them to come to me to look for reports on their campaign page. Right. So because they don't know who Janice is necessarily, who's that? I worked with Nancy.
And
so yeah. I would think that there would be like a front of house and a back of house, right? And the person that builds the campaign would be the person that provides information back to them about their campaign.
Yes.
I agree with you that if Janice is in there, she can run that report anyway. But like I said, most of the people out there, they don't necessarily have a cause to know who Janice even is.
I
Right.
think that she does. She has been providing a spreadsheet when she's been from Classy when she's been doing it. She doesn't just cut them a check. She does, let them know what she's doing. But I think I wouldn't want her to be the point person if they have a question, has one been made, or can I get the recent one? Like if nothing has been sent yet and they want a list because they need it now for some reason, I just don't want to commit her to doing that until we talk to her, because it's not in her job description.
No, I agree.
Yet.
And she's already got a big job. Yeah.
Right.
No, I agree.
So if that's going to be the case, something that we will have to do, Nancy, is look at Stripe. So you'll see when you log into Give Lively, there's a button that says Login with Stripe here.
Mm-hmm. And
that's where we have to go to see the actual, to see how much of a payment was given as was a fee. So like if you look at this Give Lively donation, you'll see it says that it was a $511, oops, I have a lot of accounts, that it was a $511 donation. But down here it tells you that it was an $11.55 fee, and that the net that's actually going to the foundation is $500. And that's mainly something for Janice to deal with. But the reason I'll need to add you onto here is because this is also where you would refund a donation. Let's say someone has a recurring donation set up and they set it and forget it. And by the end of the school year, they get charged and they're like, oh, I don't actually want to be charged for that last donation. Can you refund that last donation? Or
I still think that should go through Janice.
Okay, then that's fine too.
Yeah,
I was just going to say, we might want to limit, I understand us wanting to limit the number of people that have access to this backend.
Absolutely.
Okay. That's fine with me. Then we'll just worry about Give Lively for now.
Yeah, I think that, again, it gets into that whole front of house and back of house. We need to limit the number of people dealing with things.
Okay.
Back of house.
For now, yeah. So if someone asks for a refund and you're looking for it on Give Lively, that is something that would be done by Janice or me on Stripe. And yeah, just so you could forward it to support@dphsfoundation.org. And then one of those people would figure out how to refund it or answer a billing question like that. And yeah, that's.
Ben, I'm sorry to interrupt. I was supposed to be somewhere at 6.
Oh,
nice to see you all. Thank you so much. That was really helpful.
Of course. Bye, Jen. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Have a good weekend.
Good night.
Bye, Jen.
Ben, that was a great demonstration. Can you click really quickly on Resource Hub? How are they set up for documentation?
Oh, they have a wonderful documentation site. They show you everything, and you'll see they broke it down by.
It's really good.
Yes.
No, excellent. Well, because one of the things I was going to offer to do is to sort of document what we walked through tonight with screenshots, because Ben, you're not going to be here forever, and
yeah,
we need to make sure that people understand how to get through the system. Certainly, we can document, here's the form that people use, and we can document, some of the basics. But if their resources online are excellent, there's probably not any need to duplicate them.
No, but it would be great if you were to put something together, though, both for the end users, for like what they're asking for and what it's going to look like, so they understand what they're getting, and then something on our side for like the next person that steps into your shoes, just to know, here are the links to the resources. You don't need to redo them, but you could be like, if you need more information on this, and just a cheat sheet or something that's really simple to follow. I think that would be awesome to have in the drive, just going forward. It'll need to be updated as things change, but I think it's always good to have desktop procedures for us.
Yeah, no, I'm big on documentation. So I am
because we're kindred spirits.
Yes, cut from the same cloth. But Ben, you've done a beautiful job. I will take on that of putting a little bit of documentation together, but I'll probably run it past you to say, hey Ben, how'd I do? Check out my documentation and proof me.
Yeah, of course. So Nancy, I just added you on to Give Lively, and I
Okay.
added Lauralee and Carrie as well. And I think that's a good number of people to go through for editing campaign pages. And yeah, again, it's nice that none of the money stuff really happens within Give Lively, that you don't have to worry about being liable for withdrawals or balances or anything like that. It's just creating the campaign pages.
Okay.
Yeah, great.
All right. And Carrie, while I have you here, I will, let's update your campaign page real quick.
Okay.
So I'm going to delete this test one that we did today. Charger patio project. So you've reached the goal.
We did.
Okay. So 59,000. Do you want people to still be able to donate to the project?
Well, so not for this. I mean, you know, like I say, we're going to start raising money to populate this patio soon. So I would, you know, I would like to put something on there that says, you know, yay, we reached our goal, and then stay tuned, you know.
So let me see about that. So that it looks like what we can do is we can close the campaign. And I think I can always get it back.
Okay.
So when I go to that link, it's going to say, oh, this is perfect. Oh, this is so cool. So when you, Nancy, I don't know if you missed it, but what I did is on this editor, I clicked close campaign at the bottom here. So that makes it so it's not a dead link when you try to go there. It says, this campaign has ended. Now, thank you for your support. Please consider donating to our organization for general purposes at this link. And that will take you to the general DPHS Foundation donation page. Oh, that is so cool. I haven't closed it yet before.
Yeah.
That is very well thought through.
And you'll see.
So, and
Yes.
can I also add, I guess, in that same area? I mean, yeah, it's great to redirect to the general page, but also to say, stay tuned for opportunities to contribute, you know, to items.
So that would be in this page description. You could just go in and rewrite it, and you can bold it and underline it and stuff.
Got it.
Also, something to note here is this little paragraph button. I know it's kind of hard to see, but you can do a header, and that will make the text larger.
Oh, nice.
So if you only have a few words, you could make it as in a header mode.
Okay.
And that way, on the page, it would show up nice and big on here. So if you want to have like a title and then text below it, you could do that. So it's like a little mini word.
Great.
But I'm actually going to delete that because that's live right now.
Yeah. Thank you. So you said that you've added me to, I've got access now to this. How do I log in?
Did you receive an account setup email? Mm-hmm. That's what I was just looking at over here. Yeah, there's an email where you can accept the invitation.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I've got that in my email box, you're saying?
Yep.
And then I'll get to set up my own password.
Yeah. If I look like I keep looking off screen, it's because I have a few monitors. So my camera's on this one, but I've got email on this one.
You know.
If you're wondering why I keep looking away, I was looking at the accept email on this
I think
screen.
Rochelle's in the same boat.
Yeah.
I'm a little jealous that I don't have multiple monitors, but I think I understood where you were looking at.
Okay. Yeah, I see my email there.
It throws people off sometimes because I'm talking to them, but I'm looking over here.
And just a warning, it's a 24-hour time limit to set your password. So if it's not letting you, if it says like this link has expired, just let me know and I'll resend that email with a new.
I'll go in right now.
I'll set it right now. Yep.
Okay.
But, okay, yeah, and Laura Lee needs to do hers too then, within 24 hours, or contact you.
Yeah, could you possibly text her and tell her to set up an account?
Yeah, I absolutely will.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get a hold of her.
Cool. And
Okay,
so,
I am so impressed with you. This is
Mhm.
really amazing, and
Absolutely.
you've just done a fabulous job of taking us old people through all this.
Yeah, no, she's right, Ben. Excellent job. I agree
Yeah.
completely.
yeah, there's definitely some limits to Give Lively. Like, you can only have centered text on the description, which drives me crazy. And like a couple other little things.
Yeah.
But in general, it's very strong. It's very strong software, especially since they're not charging us anything, which is even better.
I have a
Yeah,
quick
that's
question,
amazing.
Ben.
Yeah.
So like I noticed because you went ahead and updated the amount for the patio project to say that it had reached the $59,000 or whatever. Is there a way to update the number of donors on that so it doesn't look like 8 people gave $59,000?
Yeah, so
That's
I
a
got
good
that number from Classy because when you add on the batch donations from the welcome packet, it's technically one donor.
Yeah.
And I just didn't have an idea of how many donors that was total. How many donors would you say in general that was? And it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't go anywhere. It just shows on the page.
That's really hard to say because we had the welcome packet this year that gave the 9,000 and then we had all the money prior to that.
Yeah, there was a list showing, right? Just before you migrated over, of everybody who had given up to that point.
Well,
It's-
the one in Classy wasn't correct either.
Okay, all right.
Well, I'm just gonna remove it, and that way,
Yeah.
when you go to the page. Oh, but that says 0 donors. I guess if you have the bar, you have to have a donor number. So I'm just gonna put
10 plus donors. Can you do 10 and then
you can't do
the
a
symbol
plus.
plus?
So
No,
I'm
it's got to be
100
numbers.
donors.
Yeah, I would say at least 100 because
Okay,
I mean
there you go.
that 9,000. It's not like anybody was giving us $1,000.
I'm gonna say 107 to make it.
I like it.
Like I just.
Make it look more legit.
And I can ask Janice if she has an idea, but we could update it. But yeah, that looks a lot better than 8.
I agree.
All right, everyone.
Yeah, I agree, and it's a number that doesn't mean anything. It's fine.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna stop sharing. I'm gonna